Okay, so get ready because today we are going deep on this molecule, beta-hydroxybutyrate.
BHB.
BHB, right? It's
Yeah,
been getting a lot of attention for weight loss, brain health, all kinds of things. And we've got a lot to dig into today.
I do.
We've got excerpts from Dr. Axe's article, a YouTube video from Dr. Boz, and even a Healthline piece that calls BHB a potential miracle molecule.
A miracle molecule. That's quite a claim.
Right. So let's break this down. Where should we even start with this BHB thing?
Well, I think the most interesting thing about BHB is it's something our bodies actually make themselves.
Really?
Yeah. So we usually run on glucose from carbs, but when those get low, like if you're fasting or you're on that really low carb, high fat diet.
Like keto.
Yeah, keto, exactly. Then your body starts making these things called ketone bodies. And BHB is kind of the main one.
Okay, so it's like our backup generator kicks in, but instead of running on electricity, we're running on BHB.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And for a long time, we really did just think of it as just fuel, like an alternative fuel source. But research is showing that it's more than that.
Okay.
It might actually be able to help protect our cells and maybe even signal them to do different things.
Wait, protect our cells. So like a bodyguard for our cells.
Yeah, kinda. And that Healthline article even mentions some research by a Dr. Verdin who found that boosting BHB levels actually made mice live longer.
No way.
Now, obviously, we're not mice, but it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. So how do we get in on this BHB action? Is it all about this keto diet I keep hearing about?
Keto is a big part of it, yeah. Basically, it flips a switch in your metabolism. You cut out almost all carbs, and then your body has to burn fat for energy instead of glucose.
Oh.
And that's what really ramps up BHB production.
So it's like switching from gas to electric.
Yeah, kind of like that. And that shift into fat-burning mode, that's what we call ketosis.
I see.
You know, Dr. Boz mentioned in her video that she used to be skeptical about those BHB supplements, the exogenous ketones. But it sounds like she's come around based on new research and what she's seeing with her patients.
Right, and that's kind of interesting because it shows a shift in the whole scientific community. As we learn more about BHB, we're starting to see its potential is way bigger than just fuel. And, for some people, sticking to a strict keto diet long term is, well, it's tough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So these supplements are getting more popular because they could be like a shortcut to some of the benefits of ketosis.
So like a cheat code for BHB. But besides weight loss, what else is BHB good for?
Well, some research suggests it could help with brain function, might protect against diseases like Alzheimer's, and maybe even reduce inflammation in the body.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting because Dr. Axe mentioned a study where mice with late-stage cancer, they were given exogenous ketones and they actually lived longer.
Wow.
Right. So is this stuff legit? It's important to remember that these are early studies, and a lot of them are done in animals.
Yeah.
So we can't jump to conclusions yet.
Yeah.
But the possibilities are definitely intriguing.
Okay, I'm with you. It's exciting to think about the potential. So, for someone who is intrigued by all of this, what's the best way to naturally increase your BHB levels?
Well, like we said, the keto diet is a big one.
Okay.
So that means about 70 to 80% of your calories are coming from healthy fats, then about 20 to 25% protein, and only 5 to 10% carbs.
So basically saying goodbye to bread and pasta.
Pretty much. And saying hello to lots of avocados and olive oil.
Okay, that is a big change. What about for people who aren't quite ready to go full keto?
There's also intermittent fasting, which basically means cycling between eating and fasting.
Okay.
And that can actually mimic some of the changes that happen in your body during ketosis. And you don't even have to go crazy with it. Even just extending the time between your last meal of the day, your first meal in the morning, can make a difference.
So giving your body a little break from food.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives your metabolism a chance to reset. And speaking of giving things a reset, there's another interesting way to boost BHB, like a keto shortcut.
Ooh, I love a good shortcut. Tell me more.
So Dr. Axe talks about this stuff called MCT oil, which stands for medium chain triglycerides.
Okay.
It's this special type of fat. You find it in coconut oil, and our bodies can turn it into ketones pretty easily.
Wait, so you're saying I could just put a spoonful of this MCT oil in my coffee and it would boost my BHB?
It could, yeah. A lot of people in the keto world, they use MCT oil all the time.
Okay, I'm adding MCT oil to my grocery list. But let's get back to those BHB supplements for a sec, the exogenous ketones. Because Dr. Boz actually shared this funny story about mixing BHB salts with heavy cream for a tasty ketone boost.
Yeah, she did. And while that might sound good, it's important to remember that the science behind these supplements is still kind of catching up. There are different types too. You've got ketone salts, ketone esters, and then those ketone oils like that MCT oil we were just talking about.
Oh, so it's not just like popping a pill and suddenly you're in ketosis.
Not quite. And like with any supplement, it's always smart to do your research and check with your doctor before you add something new.
Especially with all the crazy claims some of these companies make. Reading online, you'd think BHB cures everything. What are the downsides, though, realistically?
Well, some people get digestive issues with ketone salts, and you don't want to go overboard with them because too much can throw off your electrolytes. Plus, we still don't know a ton about long-term effects of taking them all the time.
Okay, so definitely proceed with caution. Don't believe all the hype. But with all this talk about BHB, how do you even know if your body's making ketones? Is there, like, a test?
There is. You can actually measure your ketone levels.
Really?
Yeah. There are blood ketone meters, kind of like what people with diabetes use to check their blood sugar. And those are the most accurate.
So that's the gold standard if you're, like, serious about tracking.
Exactly. But if you want something more convenient, there are urine test strips and breath analyzers that can kind of give you a general idea.
Interesting. So you've got options. Okay, but let's zoom out a bit and talk about the ketogenic diet itself. Because Dr. X mentioned there are a lot of misconceptions about keto. What are some of the biggest myths you've come across?
Oh, there are so many. One of the most common is that keto is like a high-protein diet.
Oh, interesting.
But it's really all about the fat. Remember, the goal is to get your body to burn fat as its primary fuel source. And to do that, you need to be eating mostly healthy fats.
So too much protein could actually mess up the whole keto thing.
Exactly. Another myth is that you can just eat any kind of fat on keto. But while you do need more fat, the quality of that fat is super important.
I see.
Focus on the healthy, unsaturated fats, like avocados, olive oil, nuts, fatty fish. Think of it as upgrading your fuel, not just switching to a different kind.
So making smart choices within those keto guidelines.
Got it. And what about carbs? Are all carbs like totally off limits?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. You still want to include non-starchy veggies like leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower. They're low in net carbs, which is the total carbs minus the fiber. And even on keto, you still need a balanced diet with plenty of those good micronutrients from veggies.
So it's not just bacon butter 24/7. You can have some green stuff too.
For sure. And actually, that reminds me of something else important: hydration. Staying hydrated is key when you're transitioning into ketosis because your body gets rid of more water when it's burning ketones for fuel.
Oh, that makes sense. Dehydration can really sneak up on you. And I've heard it can even feel like some of those initial side effects of starting keto, like fatigue and headaches. And speaking of, everyone talks about the dreaded keto flu. What is that all about?
So the keto flu is basically a bunch of symptoms some people get when their body's first switching over to burning ketones instead of glucose. It can be fatigue, headaches, brain fog, sometimes even nausea, like your body's throwing a little fit because you changed its fuel source.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun party. But does everyone feel terrible when they start keto?
Not necessarily. Some people breeze right through the transition with no problems, while others have more intense symptoms. The severity and how long it lasts, it all depends on a lot of factors, like your diet before keto, how hydrated you are, your electrolytes, even your metabolism.
It's kind of a metabolic mystery.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But there are definitely things you can do to make those keto flu symptoms less intense. Like we were just talking about, staying hydrated is huge.
Yeah.
And making sure you're getting enough electrolytes, especially sodium, potassium, and magnesium, because those can get depleted when you're in ketosis because you're peeing more.
So salt your food and eat your greens. It's not all about the fat. Got it. But what if you're doing all the right things, drinking water, electrolytes, and you still feel awful? How long does this keto flu usually last?
For most people, those symptoms go away within a few days to a week once their body adjusts. But if it's going on longer than that, you should talk to your doctor or a dietitian. Make sure you're doing keto right and that there's nothing else going on.
That's good advice. It's always better to be safe and get some expert guidance, especially when you're making big changes to your diet.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that even though keto and BHB have gotten a lot of attention for their potential benefits, we still have a lot to learn. Ongoing research is going to keep uncovering new things about this molecule.
So, as with anything health-related, stay informed and think critically about the information you come across. But I have to say, after diving deep into BHB, I'm pretty intrigued by all of this.
Me too. The idea that we could use BHB to improve health, maybe even live longer and fight off those really serious diseases, it's exciting stuff.
It feels like we're on the edge of something brand new in health and wellness, and BHB might be leading the way. But like we've been saying, we need to let science guide us and make sure we're making smart decisions about our health.
Yeah, it really is. And, while we wait for even more research and those really solid answers, there are still things we can do now to uh, explore the potential of BHB ourselves.
Yeah. Like we were saying earlier, even if you're not ready to jump all in on keto, that MCT oil could be a good starting point, right?
It's actually pretty versatile. You can add it to your coffees, smoothies, even salad dressings.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to nudge your BHB levels a bit and see how you feel.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that. And what about intermittent fasting? Is that another way to kind of encourage your body to produce more BHB naturally,
Mm.
even if you're not doing strict keto?
Definitely. Intermittent fasting seems to have a lot of benefits in general. Weight management, better insulin sensitivity,
Hmm.
even cell repair. Pretty amazing. And it's pretty flexible too. You could just, extend that time between your last meal at night and breakfast the next morning. You don't have to starve yourself or anything.
I like that because I'm all about finding healthy habits that I can actually stick with, you know?
Exactly. It's about what works for you and your own goals.
I think this whole deep dive into BHB has been a really good reminder that science is always changing and what we know about the human body is constantly evolving.
It's true. It's like we're peeling back the layers of a really complex puzzle with every new study.
Yeah, and it seems like BHB could be a big piece of that puzzle, you know? Maybe even a key to better health and maybe even longer life.
It's definitely a fascinating area of research. But like we've been saying, we've got to be patient, let the science guide us, and make sure we're making those good choices for our health.
Absolutely. And speaking of making good choices, I think it's worth repeating that anyone thinking about making big changes to their diet or adding any new supplements, you should really talk to a doctor or a registered dietitian first.
Couldn't agree more. We want everyone to feel empowered to make the best decisions for their own health journey.
Exactly. Well, it's been awesome exploring the world of BHB with you today. This stuff is really mind-blowing.
It is. For our listeners, we hope this deep dive got you thinking about BHB and all its potential. Definitely check out those sources we talked about and do a little exploring of your own.
Yeah, get curious. And as always, keep those minds sharp, bodies healthy, and spirits bright.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.